open borders, shameful abandonment, disregard for human life, the prospect of more mandates and lockdowns, and the list goes on. Now more than ever, we need to stick together. Voting alone is not enough. We must use our dollars to support like-minded companies that fight for our rights and beliefs. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider who shares your values. Last year, we gave more than $500,000 to conservative causes. With your support, we'll give more than $1.5 million this year. It's time to band together and support companies that truly love America and fight for our freedoms. Will you join us?
Is Kentucky's Voice Radio, covering the latest state and local issues with Tom Fallbush, Bob Scott, and Jim Waters.
All right, welcome to the program. Welcome to Kentucky's Voice, the only program in this state and in this city that deals with news and politics from a conservative perspective, you know, because let's face it, we're a red state, right? Right, Debbie?
Right.
My co-host Debbie Robbins here. We're a red state, but, you know, a lot of our news media, a lot of our local media is kind of left of center. It's corporate. It kind of doesn't really reflect our, you know, Kentucky values. And so so who better to represent Kentucky values than real Kentuckians? Because we're local. We actually live here. We've grown up here. This station group that you're watching and listening to us on is locally owned. And so we figured it's our duty to step up and represent the Ville, represent Kentucky. You know, that's
exactly.
what we're doing. So we have a great show today. We have some good guests that we're going to bring on, but we're going to we're going to kind of theme the show a certain way. You know, we're going to focus on Louisville, Jefferson County, and there's a couple of cases that kind of highlight sort of the cultural battle that's going on in the city right now and the nation, but how it reflects in Louisville. In one case, I'm going to cover this in the first segment. This one case, you may have heard of this. There's a Louisville wedding photographer, right, who sued the city, and because she didn't want to do same-sex weddings. You know, she didn't want to, work at same-sex weddings. Well, the fairness ordinance in Louisville it says if you deny somebody that wants to hire you for a same-sex wedding, then and if you say no, then you're violating that ordinance and you're going to get discriminated against. And she's saying, well, I'm a Christian. You know, my my religious values say that I shouldn't have to participate in a holy sacrament and a ceremony that I disagree with spiritually. And so you're violating my religious rights here. And so this happened in 2019. This case has been going on a while. Happened in 2019. This young lady took the city to court, and she won.
And I'm so proud of her for doing that.
And she won $800,000 that the city of Louisville has to pay this young lady. And if Mr. She's a photographer, Mr. Producer, can you pull up this my website? Oh, you got it. Okay. So this is her, and let me get her name here. It is. I'll get this. I have this pulled up. Chelsea Nelson. Yeah, Chelsea Nelson. And so she has a Chelsea Nelson Photography here in town. So if you need a wedding photographer, get a hold of Chelsea. She's the real deal. But anyway, so she won this lawsuit. $800,000 they have to pay her. Now that $800,000 just goes to her legal fees, right? She doesn't make. She makes $1 in her pocket. That's $800,000 and $1. So the $1 goes to her. It's a symbolic judgment, you know.
Yes.
But the city of Louisville has to pay for these legal fees, and so that's awesome, and that shows you that there is, there is this sort of, mood with the LGBT movement to try to take their rights and kind of highlight that and create this sympathy to put in place all these structures of all these laws and all these things. But really, what they're doing is they're just setting themselves up to persecute people that disagree with them. That's what they really are, and we're going to talk about another case, another law that's being put forth by the Metro Council to make this city a transgender safe zone, a transgender, what do you call it? A safe zone, a sanctuary city for transgender. And so, in other words, this is going to be a city that will persecute Christians and persecute people that disagree with that. So that's what that means. But we have a Metro Council person that's going to be that's putting forth that bill today. That's in the news today. We'll talk about that later. But and so anyway, so Debbie, how you doing?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then we also have the attorney coming up who's going to be talking about another case similar. It's been recent in the past year. And this young woman was fired from Honey Brothers Coffee for just expressing her Christian views, which she was asked about intentionally.
That's right.
And just having a conversation with someone.
To a fellow employee.
To a fellow employee.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, this is America still, and we get to speak.
Right.
Whatever we want to talk about.
That's right.
As long as we don't intentionally try to offend someone.
And of course,
but even then, you learn how to solve your problems.
You do, yeah. And of course,
without getting fired.
What was that conversation related to? It was related to same-sex marriage
exactly.
and LGBT issues.
Right.
And
so
there's a theme here that we're gonna cover today. So we'll be right back with that interview with the attorney that dealt with that case.
502-571-0970.
Yeah, we want to hear your text. Great segment here. We've got an interview with an attorney who's dealing with a case that's very, very interesting, very pertinent. It's a local case. It has to do with cancel culture and
religious
liberties. And I'll pull up this picture real quick. There's a young lady by the name of Paige Rogers who worked at Honey Brothers Coffee here in town. And she was recently fired for sharing her faith. And so we're going to bring her attorney on, Cliff Martin, and to discuss what's happening. And so Cliff, give us kind of the basics of this case. Why did she get fired?
Well, essentially, she got fired for answering questions. She was approached and questioned about her faith, and she gave honest, respectful answers. When she was done with the conversation, she didn't think anything of it. She thought she and her coworkers were on good terms. And then she received a text message a week later from Honey Brothers terminating her employment. They did not interview her. They did not give her an opportunity to explain anything. They gave her no warning. They just terminated her and said that she had made other people uncomfortable. And so on that basis, on the basis of someone else being offended, and we're not even sure who, they wouldn't tell Paige that, they terminated her. And we think that they clearly did this based on her religious beliefs. And that's why we brought a charge with the EEOC asking the administration to investigate this issue.
Did she violate any city ordinance or any sort of labor law, anything that would have run afoul of any regulation or law?
Not that we're aware of, certainly. The employer, Honey Brothers, claimed that she violated a discrimination policy, but when she asked for, how exactly did I do that, they didn't have a very satisfactory response at all. They just said, you made people uncomfortable, and we have a zero tolerance policy, so we're terminating you. So it seems they do have a zero tolerance policy, but unfortunately, it's zero tolerance towards Christians, apparently,
That's
because all she did was express her beliefs in a very respectful manner, and she was terminated because of that.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And I personally am sick of this. I'm so thankful that Paige has been courageous enough to want to pursue getting your counsel and that you are taking on this case. And did you say that you brought it to Washington, to the president, to the administration's attention? Is that what you're talking about?
Right. So we filed with the EEOC, which is the ordinary course of action that in an employment claim, you would file with the EEOC first if you're going to file a federal claim under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. But we have observed that the EEOC has been very proactive in protecting employees from religious discrimination, and we've been encouraged by that. And so we hope that the EEOC will take advantage of this to send another message to employers that they cannot discriminate against employees based on their beliefs, and they have to accommodate religious employees in their workplace.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. I just don't understand why these people or employers, they will not have dialogue with their employees. And I know many times in contracts it says that there's a no cause clause that they can fire her. So are they trying to hide behind that maybe? Is that something you all have to deal with as well?
Well, we haven't received their statement or their view of things yet. All we have is the text messages from Paige's supervisor and an email from HR. But we have not gotten their legal theory on this. Certainly, she may be an at-will employee, but at-will employees still cannot be for an illegal reason. So an employer might be able to terminate employees for any reason, but not an illegal one. And it is illegal to terminate employees on the basis of their religious faith. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prohibits any private employer from doing that.
And since they made the claim that she made people uncomfortable, they gave that as the reason. So basically her faith, her statements of her faith, is what triggered a firing, and they proved it by the language they used of, you made us feel uncomfortable when you said these things. And so they're in hot water, and they should very well be. And actually, anybody in this town that frequents Honey Brothers, you should reconsider that right now, because they do not like Christians apparently, and that needs to be taken home. And so it seems like Cliff, we're at this point now where that movement, the LGBT movement, and has a hostility towards faith. And they it seems like it's a blatant I guess what's the word, it's either, they claim tolerance, they want tolerance of their perspective and their worldview, yet if any other worldview counteracts that or comes against that, then there is no tolerance. And it plays itself out in so many ways, to employment and just to law and so. Where are we going in this country? You're an attorney. Where are we going on this issue? Because it seems like these two things are not compatible. I mean, you get the people that want to make a cake for a wedding, who want to say no to a gay wedding, or a photographer that wants to not participate in a wedding. Where are we going? And to kind of settle this issue, because you got to have religious liberty, and also you don't want to mistreat people if be unfair to people that have same-sex attractions. We're not trying to abuse them. At the same time, you can't force us to celebrate their lifestyle. And
we're just assuming that might be the issue. We don't know if that was the premise of that, right?
Well, the topic of the conversation apparently got her fired was that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Okay,
so,
I remember
I think somebody
You're
asked
right.
her about how she felt about same-sex.
I see.
Is that right, Cliff? They were asking me how she felt
right. Well,
about
they were asking her questions about sexuality, but again, we don't know that the employees that she was talking with had any issue with her. They had a difference of opinion, and Paige thought that they had a respectful conversation, and so she did not think that that there was something there that could get her terminated, certainly. And she was very surprised to receive the text message. But employees that are religious and speak in a respectful manner should be tolerated in the workplace. And when employees are allowed to talk about other topics like sports or the weather, like religion is a permissible topic when it's done respectfully. And here it seems that Heine Brothers has not gotten that memo yet, that religious beliefs must be protected and respected by employers.
It doesn't sound like she was trying to proselytize while she was, being a barista, making up her latte and say, hey, do you want to become a Christian? I don't think she was doing that. Somebody asked her a question about her opinion, and I think she just expressed it. And it was a fellow coworker. It wasn't even a customer. So is that right? Am I describing that correctly?
No, that's exactly right. It was a coworker asking her questions, and she answered respectfully. And she even said, I understand not all people believe the way I do. She was not judging them or trying to get them to change their beliefs. She was simply stating what she believed. And, for that, the statement itself was what allegedly made someone uncomfortable and caused Tiny Brothers to terminate her employment.
Cliff, what kind of punishment can happen to employers for doing this? I know that, we could boycott their business, but, I'm just one of those, I love people, but I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of it. It's got to stop. Either you have enough respect to sit down and speak with someone and talk things through, but what can happen to them for doing this?
Can she own
I want
Honey
it to
Brothers?
happen.
Yeah, can she own Honey Brothers at the end of the day?
Right.
I'd like to see that. It's like, hey, Paige Rogers, the new owner of Honey Brothers.
But what can happen to employers for doing this?
Well, certainly employers run significant liability risks when they treat employees this way. Employees can file claims with the EEOC. They can file lawsuits. And we also have seen the EEOC directly sue these employers for their hostility towards religion. And we've seen that a number of times and are very encouraged that, when the full weight of the federal government comes down on a business that is actively discriminating against religious people or failing to accommodate them, that pleases us because we want employers to know they have to respect their religious employees. And it's not an option. It's not just a good idea, but it's something that's mandated by the law.
Yeah, I don't want young people out there to lose courage. I want them to be courageous. And I really appreciate that you took this case and that you're standing up for this young woman. And what do you want to say to young people or anyone out there right now that may be feeling this type of discrimination for their Christian beliefs? I think of Charlie Kirk. I mean, everybody has him still on their minds. So what do you say?
Well, if you have been discriminated against or you're going in the future to be discriminated against, we'd love for you to reach out to us at First Liberty. It's at firstliberty.org. And, we're always here and wanting to help out people that take a courageous stand. And you should know that if you take such a stand, you're not alone. Like, you'll have a lot of people in the community that want to see respectful religious conversations protected and that employees can speak boldly.
Absolutely.
There we go. Well, folks, maybe get your coffee somewhere else this week. Don't go to Honey Brothers. Go to some other coffee.
Kentucky's Voice is your home for real news, real people, and real answers. But we can't do it without you. Your financial support helps us bring truth to the forefront, hold leaders accountable, and give a voice to the people of the Commonwealth. Join the fight today. Give online at kyvoice.org or text KYVoice to 53555. Every gift makes a difference. Stand with us. Speak up. Stay strong. You are Kentucky's voice.
Maria.
Now,
And that
back
camera.
to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
Okay. All right. Welcome back to Kentucky's Voice. That was a great interview. That was really interesting.
It was.
That lady, she's a real hero, standing up against Heine Brothers, right? So we've had
Absolutely.
2 young women in Louisville. So 2 different young women in Louisville.
And we're
that
about to
stood
have a
up-
third one here in a
About a third
moment.
one here in a moment. 2 young women in Louisville that have stood up against the powers that be, that have stood up for their faith, stood up for what they believe in, and we're just very proud of them. So Paige Rogers and then Chelsea Nelson.
Yes.
So wonderful ladies. Okay, we're going to go to another guest here soon, but first I want to talk about what just came out today. What's in the news today? We have a Metro Council person by the name of Leninger. If you can pull this up, Mr. Producer. Leninger, if you see him on the screen here, we're going to play this story, but he is trying to make Louisville a transgender safe haven city. Okay, let's see what.
Louisville Metro Councilman J.P. Leninger has filed legislation to designate Louisville as a safe haven city for people who are transgender and gender nonconforming. The proposed ordinance prohibits the use of local resources to detain individuals for seeking gender-affirming health care. It would also prevent Metro government from sharing information about a person's gender identity with outside governments. The ordinance also provides protections for gender expression and performance.
So I'm going to do my part to try to protect my community, to try to tell trans people that they matter, that they are valued, and that Louisville is going to stand with them. And that's why we brought forward the Trans Safe Haven Ordinance.
The ordinance will be discussed at the next Public Safety Committee meeting. That's on April 15th.
Okay, so let me interpret that for you. So in other words, we're going to make sure that the state's ban on drag shows for children, we're not going to enforce that here in Louisville. That's what that means. That means if you are working for government and they bring down this training from on high, from Metro government, that says that you have to use certain pronouns, you've got to treat people in a certain approved way as far as their gender ideology, and you disagree with that, we will punish you. You will get fired. That's what this means. It isn't we're creating some little huggy-feely safe haven for transgenders. This is we're going to come after anybody that's against this agenda. So don't be fooled. And that's what this stuff is pure authoritarianism, and it's pure. It's basically establishing a state religion in a sense, because it's basically talking about existential issues of life, which is what a woman is, what a man is, and the government's coming in and just establishing that and making you bow down to it. And so don't be fooled by that language. And this is a Metro Council person doing
our
this,
Metro
right?
Council, and that's why it's so critical this year. People know if you've got people running for Metro Council in your district, because every 2 years we have to vote for half of the council, and this year it's going to be a nonpartisan race. Meaning, if you're a conservative and you're a registered Republican and you walk in to vote, you're not going to see an R or a D by your Metro Council person if they're running in your district. You need to know who the candidates are, and we're doing our best here to bring them on the show so you can know who they are. But furthermore, I just want to say, because we are a Christian conservative viewpoint here, we don't hate anyone. We are Christians and we love every human. But what we do not love is lies and promoting lies, promoting a lifestyle that is so devastating, and that it's one thing if you want to live your life that way, because of the type of what this lifestyle is, if you promote it in public, it ruins little children. It ruins people's lives when they see. I remember when my son was little, I had my child, anywhere from 0 to 5, when they see things like pornography, even if it's normalized, if it's man and woman, if they say anything that is disturbing, that messes up their brains. It's bad enough we deal with cell phones and smartphones and everything else, but the percentage of people that deal with this is less than 0.5% of the population. But we as voters, as Americans, as citizens, this is not what our government's for. We have got to use our government to help us do things that are common sense and logical, not keep, helping people of this type of lifestyle, Tom.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
just it's just
That's
crazy.
right. Yeah, and there's two layers of this. There's the interpersonal issue of just dealing with someone that has these same-sex attractions or these transgender ideas. You have to have, like you said, compassion for them. Understand. Listen, if you're an adult, you can choose to live that lifestyle.
Right.
I think it's wrong for you and everybody around you. I think it's harmful to you and the society as a whole. But that's fine. If you want to go live that way, that's fine. But what they're saying is, no, you're going to let us live that way, and we're going to make you support it and celebrate it. And if you don't celebrate it and you don't align with this ideology that I'm trying to foist on the culture, then you're going to get punished. And so
and we already have national laws. That's why the president put out his executive orders. That's why different laws are being passed in different cities. I'm sorry, as a mother, I cannot stand by and see this.
That's right.
As an aunt of little children, and you see little children, we have to be so careful what they see. We've just had major cases fought and won over social media. And again, I'm compassionate to anyone. But until things are defined for what they really are, and this is a mental disorder, this is something that's very harmful even to the person that's involved, until we can be truthful about that again, we just cannot endorse it. This should not be allowed.
So all that being said, this is a Metro Council issue.
Exactly.
Right? So this
and
is
they
a Metro
need to
Council
say no.
in our city, and we need to first of all, we can flip the Metro Council.
Exactly.
We're 3 seats away from flipping into a conservative majority.
Right.
And so let's make sure we do that. So get out and vote. And like Debbie said, these are nonpartisan races, so you're going to have to know the names of these people that are the conservatives that are running. And there are 3 key districts we're trying to flip, and we've talked about that in other programs. But we actually have a guest on today who is running for Metro Council.
Not Metro Council. She's running for Congress.
Oh, I'm sorry, Congress.
That's okay, Tom.
Yeah,
we have a lot of elections this year.
That's right. We sure do. Yeah. So Congress. So you're actually running against or trying to get McGarvey's seat, basically, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay. Well, why don't you introduce her, Debbie?
I will. I'm so excited to introduce to our listeners. Please call us to 502 571-0970. Yeah, 0970. We want you to call in and ask this beautiful young woman, Maria Rodriguez. She is our guest today. She was born and raised in communist Cuba, socialist Cuba, and she escaped at the age of 19 with her family. It took them 9 years to get out of the country and make it to America. And she's an American citizen now, a very proud and patriotic American citizen. She's a single mom of 2 beautiful teenage children. She is a nurse at one of our trauma centers here in Louisville. She came here and she also had started a business with her former husband. So she's also a business owner. She understands economics. She understands socialism. So she wants to dive in today and tell you why she's running, why she wants to represent our country. And we want to hear your questions. So if you have questions for Maria Rodriguez, running for 3rd District Congress, she would love to unseat Morgan McGarvey. And we have 4 candidates total on the Republican side, and we're trying to have all of them on the program, and we're thrilled that Maria is with us today. She is the only female running on the Republican side. So give us some questions for Maria, 502-571-0970.
We only have about a minute left.
Yes.
But let's go to Maria real quick.
Go.
Maria, we're really excited to have you on the show because, first of all, we love the Cuban community here in Louisville. You guys are awesome. I mean, it's just, if you're going to have an immigrant group come to your city, you want the Cubans.
Yes, you do.
They get it, right? They get it. They've lived through a lot of this persecution, and they know socialismo is no go. So it's just awesome to have you on the show. Glad you're running. Like I said, we have about 1 minute left. Give us like a 30-second elevator pitch, and then we're going to come back and talk to you more. But why are you running?
Well, I am running for U.S. Congress because I would love to give back to my city, Louisville, all the love that we receive when we come legally as an immigrant, and all the opportunity that America give us as well to come here and build a future for our families. As well, I'm sick and tired of politicians that have no idea what real Americans struggle because they never had a job in their life and they don't know what people
What people
real
are really going
American
through.
struggle
Exactly
every day.
right.
Yes.
Well, let's unpack that more after this next break. And so Maria Rodriguez, running for 3rd District. We're going to unseat McGarvey one way or the other. Maria might do it. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
All right, welcome back to Kentucky's Voice, and we have a great guest with us right now. If you're watching this program or you're listening to the program on the radio, you probably live in Louisville, right? Because this show primarily runs on 2 different broadcast outlets in Louisville, WGTK 970 and WBNA Channel 21. So most of Louisville consists of the 3rd District, the 3rd Congressional District, which is where Morgan McGarvey is our current congressman there. And, of course, it's the only Democrat district in the state. It's a very blue district if you look at the ratio of Republican to Democrat, and so it is a tough seat to unseat if you're a Republican. However, things are changing. People are realigning, right? Your party, what a Republican was 20 years ago is different than what it is today. What a Democrat was 20 years ago is different than it was today. Donald Trump was a Democrat 20 some years ago, right?
It was.
A lot of these real conservative MAGA types used to be Democrats, right? And so
Yes.
and a lot of people say, well, the party left me. I didn't leave the party, and that's true. And the Republican Party is getting a little bit more sensitive to the plight of the working man, affordability, and these sort of issues. And so that's why the populist conservatism is really taking hold. So I think we have a chance to unseat a Democrat in this city, and so we're excited to bring on some candidates that are trying to take that seat. So we have Maria Rodriguez, who's running for 3rd District, and you'll be running in the primary. Of course, when is the primary? It's May.
It's May 19th.
May 19th.
May
okay.
19th.
And right now, there's how many people?
There's 4.
There's 4.
Four
okay.
people.
But you're really the front runner in my book, or one of the front runners. And so. And so tell us again, obviously your background, you're from Cuba originally, but you're an American citizen now. And so you mentioned one of the issues that you champion is just affordability and the plight of the working person, the average person.
Tell us about socialism, because she lived under it. I really want to hear educate those that may not understand.
Well, like you said, I was born and raised in Cuba, a socialism slash communist country, because people tend to argue about that. I'm like, there is a very fine line between socialism and communism. That's right. And once you go socialist, there is no way that you're going to keep that line separated.
That's exactly right.
So you are one single centimeter away from communism.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it's hard when the government dictates what to do with your life. Like you cannot even, and this is something that people get stunned every time that I tell them. The government dictates what you can eat, what you cannot eat. They would even, let's say you're a farmer, you own cows. Those are your cows. You cannot kill the cow without the government authorization to feed your family. So your family can be starving and you cannot even kill the cow to feed your family because you can go to jail.
Because that's the state's cow, as far as they're
goodness.
concerned. Yeah, it's the government owns that cow.
They are yours, but they're not yours.
But they're not yours.
That's
right.
happened. That happened when you live under socialism or communism. The government owns everything and anything. Let's say a fisherman. Fishermen can go and spend the whole day on the sea fishing. Whenever they come back to land, they'll have to give the government everything they fish, and the government decide what they give them back. Like if you got lobsters or shrimp, those are only for the government consumption or exportation. You're not even allowed to do that. And if you save some or hide them to give it to your family, you can go to jail too.
Oh my goodness.
The government dictates in Cuba how long you're going to have electricity, for how long you're going to have electricity, and when you will have electricity or water, running water again. That's why it's so important, and I am all about limiting the government. You cannot give the government too much power. When the government start coming in and dictating what to do with your life, that is a problem. Keep the government away from your business. I think the Americans don't realize how important that is. Keep the government as far as you can from your business.
Your business, yeah.
Now, when you came here and you've in this beautiful, amazing country, what is the first time you felt an alarm bell in your heart where you thought, uh-oh, America's going the wrong way? What can you share with us?
Well, we came as political refugees, and that comes from my family was Catholic. When the communist government took over Cuba, they prohibited Catholics to believe in God. Not only Catholic was the main religion in Cuba, but they prohibit everybody to believe in God and go to church. My family stood up against that. So they were persecuted for that reason, and we came here as political refugees. And we came under Obama administration, which it was odd to me because I didn't understood English very well. When we came here, I didn't know English at all. I had to go back to JCC and do English as a second language because I only could say tomato, potato, and water. That was it. So that was a whole trip. When I started learning the language and I started seeing what social media was saying, because I was never a fan of watching a lot of TV for the same main reason. In Cuba, we only have one TV channel station or whatever you call it. And of course, they're going to feed you with all the lies, all the communism, socialist lies. So I wasn't a very TV fan person. And I started like watching him and getting involved with, okay, what's going on? And when Obama started like opening everything to Cuba and I'm like, oh, this is so wrong. This is so wrong. And that's when I started like, okay, we got to do something about it because this is not right. And our country is going to go. And when I mean with my country, I mean America. I'm an American citizen and I love this country. I'll dare anybody to love this country more than I do because I know what it is to come from a place where you cannot be free or exercise your freedom of speech.
That's right.
And I love this country, and I was like, without a doubt, I'll go to war. I'll give my life to this country, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running for Congress, because it's infuriating when you see people like Morgan McGarvey that have never lived in socialism or communism and have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Vote against the hearts of socialism.
Right. That's right.
The Congress is trying to pass this bill to condemn socialism, and he voted against somebody who had never even stepped foot on a socialist country.
That's right.
That have no idea what people struggle, but somehow he feels that socialism is great.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see these left-wing politicians who want to flirt with socialism and communist ideas, And yet, they claim that they're trying to help the working man or the poor. It's one reason why they maybe are drawn to that. It's like, well, this is a more just way of living. We can just redistribute the wealth, and everybody will have more. But if we've ran that experiment, right? It's been 100 years of that of Marxism and communism, and everywhere it's tried, everybody gets poor. And it's just total destruction. I mean, look at the North Korea versus South Korea. That's the perfect example of a perfect experiment that we've run over the past 80 years. And so it's like you wonder what really motivates them when they see the evidence that their ideas actually bring poverty. They don't help the poor; they bring poverty. We've lifted more people out of poverty with free market, free enterprise and liberty and freedom around the world than any other system ever devised. But yet they still want to push this stuff. So what
they want to
motivates
push
them?
this stuff because it will set them on power.
That's what it is. Exactly
It's
right.
gonna
That's
set
it.
them to be
That's
in
right.
power
They get
forever.
to be the boss. They get to
because
be the
you
boss.
can vote, and this is the example of Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and every single country in the world that have experienced socialism. You can vote your way into socialism. You'll have to die to get out of
Got to
it.
shoot your way out.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Right. Exactly
You
right.
will have to die to get out of it.
That's right. Or you get a president like Donald Trump that comes in and knocks off your leaders.
Amen.
And
Amen
so,
to that.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah,
Thanks
it's-
God for
that's
President
exactly
Trump.
right. Yeah. And
Yes.
listen, I've got Venezuelan friends in this town that were just celebrating. They were just like, this is so awesome. And so anyway, but exactly right. So who better to represent Americans as somebody that really appreciates freedom? It's like you're in the desert and you're thirsty and you drink that cup of water and it's the best cup of water on the earth.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're in a socialist country and you see freedom across the the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America now, and you get there and you just. It's like it's the greatest freedom ever, and so I would totally celebrate that.
I do
with you.
too.
So-
And I am so thrilled to hear all this. This is amazing. But I'm going to be the devil's advocate because I'm sure there's some people out there that are thinking about this. So help us there's some people want to pass laws that will not allow people who have not been born in this country to run for office. And the reason being is because of people like Ilhan Omar
Or
and
Mandami.
Taliba Rashid.
Yeah,
These
Rashid or
horrific
Mandami. Yeah.
humans that hate America.
Right.
So would you say again, tell us from your heart again, I mean, you said you would die for America. That's pretty amazing. But would you mind saying again to us why it's okay for Maria Rodriguez, who was not born on this soil, but who is an American citizen now, why should we vote for you and trust you with Louisville? Because that's who you will represent, is this beautiful land of Kentucky, Louisville. Why?
Well, you have, and going back to Ilhan Omar and all these other representatives in Congress who hate America, let's start with that. These people are part of the agenda that Islam countries have been trying to bring
Subvert.
to America.
Yeah, that's right.
And destroy our Western hemisphere and our Christianity, because that's their plan. Their plan is to abolish Christianity all over the world and implant Islam, which is a totalitarian regime as well.
Exactly.
If you go to the roots of it, that is a totalitarian regime. So we have all these people that are coming here and going to power to destroy America with the sole purpose of destroying America. And then we have people like me, like Cubans and all the Cubans in Congress, which we have amazing Cubans in Congress.
Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio, I love that guy.
That's
I love
right.
that guy. I am so
The
happy
future
that
president of Cuba.
he is.
No.
Well, he cannot.
Well, or our president too. I don't know.
we cannot
Yeah, we
let
can't
him.
lose him. That's true. Yeah.
That's
And
right.
that is
Well,
the
they've
thing.
had
It's
some
like, people
memes
is
where he's like,
well,
the-
if Cuba changed, would you go to Cuba? No. This is my home.
That's right.
This is my country. This is where my kids were
Exactly
born, and this
right.
is the
Yeah.
country that opens
We're
its
keeping
arm
them.
when my birth country
Yeah.
gave me,
that's
took
right.
that opportunity away of
Absolutely.
freedom, of speech, and everything else.
Yeah, but to your point, you're seeing this really weird, merging of what they call the red-green alliance, right? The Marxists, they represent the red, and then the green representing Islam, and they're sort of the communists and the Islamists are working together now in some weird way, and it's like, and on a base level, they really shouldn't get along because one is atheist and is all LGBT, and the Muslims are, they believe in some sort of God, not the Christian God, but they believe in a God, and they hate the gays. So it's like it's a strange bedfellows, but they're there. And what do they both agree on? They hate America. They hate America's freedom. And so exactly. So Rashida Tlaib and all these folks in Congress, they're part of that red-green alliance that's trying to subvert America. And we're going to fight back with people like Maria. So we'll be right back.
Back to Kentucky's Voice Radio, online at kyvoice.org.
All right, welcome back to Kentucky's Voice, and we want to stop and just say Happy Good Friday, right? And also Happy Easter. And Bob Scott, one of our co-hosts, who wanted to be here today, but he couldn't be. He sent us this text today. He goes, "Make sure you mention this on the show." I said, "Okay, we will." He goes, "It's a cool fact that on this beautiful and blessed Good Friday, most historians cite this day, Friday, April 3rd, AD 33, as being the actual day Jesus was crucified." And so isn't that interesting? If that's true, that's fascinating.
That's
so
amazing.
this is the actual day it happened. And so wonderful. And also we have a Easter egg hunt that we're promoting as well at Broadbent Arena that's going on tonight. If you have any kids and you want to have a great time, it's a free event. They do charge for parking at the fairgrounds, but a free event. The Dog the Bounty Hunter will be there. We had him on a couple of days ago. Andrew interviewed him. It was really cool. And so he'll be there speaking. And so Easter egg hunt tonight at Broadbent Arena. Check it out. But we're going to go back to our first of all, we're getting some great questions from our viewers. So 571-0970, 502-571-0970. Text us with questions. And we have a couple questions.
We're just going to throw out these topics for Maria to attack.
There we go. Maria Rodriguez, who's running for Congress, trying to unseat Morgan McGarvey. So here's the first question. What is your stand on the Save America Act? And we'll just start with that. It's a longer question, but what's your stand on the Save America Act?
I support the American Act. I believe if you think, and you're part of this segment of people who think that they cannot win elections if only American votes, I think that's your answer.
That's right.
And that is a right that only Americans should have.
That's right.
Nobody else should decide what is the best for our country but American citizens.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. Very good. And what is your view on ICE and deporting people who came into this country without a valid asylum claim?
Well, I support legal immigration. Let's begin with my family. It took my family 11 years to get to America and set a foot on American soil. while our life was in danger in Cuba. I didn't came crossing the borders, or I didn't came from Cuba because the economic situation. My family came because our life was in danger, because we stood against the government and we were a threat to the government. And we waited 11 years, 11 long years, which it was more than 11 years, but 11 years to be kind of like
keep it simple.
Because you have to go through a long process of the visa, and then you have interview after interview. It's like 3 total interviews that you have to go through, and you have to prove. You have to have like real proof to give those to the embassy that your life is in danger in order for you to come with a visa as a political refugee. So it's not just anybody that goes to say, "Oh, my life is in there." No, you have to have proof of it. So I support legal immigration. And I stand with ICE, and I think that they are doing a great job on removing every single person that is a threat to our community and is here illegally. That is my
everybody that's here.
So you want them all out, like
right?
I do. I want every illegal out,
because this is and this is the root of the problem. The previous administration created all this issue with illegal immigrants coming here, which none of them, I'm not saying that all of them are criminals or want what's bad for a country, but you came here illegally. You didn't, we don't know who these people are. We don't know what their intentions are. We don't know, what they came here for. And some of them come here to work. Okay. But there are processes to that. And it will be a slap in the face, allowing all this to all those legal immigrants who came here, follow the process, and pay all the fines and the fees to come legally to America. So that's pretty much like disrespectful and a slap in the face to those who have followed the rules and have followed American laws.
That's right.
And that's why all the legal immigrants in the United States support what's happening right now.
That's right. Yeah, so legal immigrants, they support deportation more than the average American, because it's because they know how hard it was to get in and go through the process, and so they're offended by people that want to jump the line. Here's another question: do you believe that a valid green card holders should be required to learn English or basic English within a certain time frame, or be deported for failure to assimilate?
That is, I will say, it depends, because not everybody has the same abilities to when it comes to learning, and some people have some learning disabilities. Some of them come here but they didn't have like a great schooling. I do believe they have to. I mean, you're coming to my house, I'm letting you come to my house. You should adapt to my culture, to my language, and everything in my country. We're not telling you to stop being who you are, but at least assimilating and learning the language is for sure a thing. Because why do I have to? Like, if you go to Cuba, people are not going to be trying to speak to you in English or learning English to be,
exactly
accommodating you.
That's right.
If you don't know Spanish,
it's going to be hard to get
it's going to be hard to get everything, even water.
That's right.
Because even though Cuban people are really nice, and anywhere you go in the world, like, people are decently nice, but nobody's going to accommodate to cater to you. You have to, like, if you go to Japan, you better know some Japanese.
Exactly right.
Otherwise, you're cooked.
So, unless you have a question, I've got one for real quick. Just how would you appeal to people in this county that have not voted for Republican before, that have not voted for conservative, and because we have a predominantly Democrat dominated district here. And so you're going to have to pull some people over, or they're just going to not vote, one or the other. But so how would you appeal to people that are maybe skeptical of voting for Republicans or somebody like yourself?
I am somebody who values, and I'm so sorry, my earpiece is kind of like,
yeah, that's right.
It's kind of giving me a hard time.
That's right.
But I am somebody coming from the country I came, where freedom of speech was not a thing and it was not respected. I respect everybody's point of view. Yeah. And I can sit down with anybody and hear their opinion. And my goal, if I win the primary elections and win the general elections, is I am going to be 3rd District representative. I want to represent everybody in the district, not just Republicans because I'm the Republican candidate or because I'm a Republican. I want everybody to be able and feel comfortable with coming with the issues they have. And it's like, I know Maria is going to listen. And I think working in an emergency department, that gives me that sense where I can listen to all the different point of view. Because when I go to my patient rooms in the emergency department, I don't care what my patient voted for. I don't care what my patient beliefs are. Like, my goal when I'm in that room is like, my first question: how can I help you?
That's right.
And what can I do to make you feel better or help you feel better?
That's right.
I don't care if you are a Democrat. I don't care if you're independent, if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're gay, straight, or you believe in God, or you are Jewish, I don't care. I am here to help you, and that is the same stand that I will be taking if I win elections.
And that's a good stand. But I want to throw another question to you, because this is serious business. And there are issues that come before us that are deeply felt, especially because of the situation our country's in, the moral issues, the foundational things that truly shape. While we may feel compassion for the transgender community, let's say, does that mean I'm going to embrace and promote and all their agenda? I can't. That's not for the overall health of others. So do you believe that you're able to stand for your convictions? Do you know how to read a room when everybody is, or instead of being like Thomas Massey, whom we've debated to death on this show, someone who just sometimes we feel like goes against the president, just dadgummit to go against the president. Are you able to read the room and trust your instincts? And then also to put on top of that, are you looking to form a team around you that when you are an elected official, people that are experts in different categories that are not in the government, economics, military, all these things that can advise you? So that's what I want to know.
Absolutely. And I do believe that part of, like, it's not the diversity that they want to try to shove down our throats, okay? That is the diversity of having somebody who is an expert on different aspect and different topics that affect our community, and having that input and everybody working together to make Louisville a better city, a safer city, and a prosperous city. That's my goal. When it comes to, like, I can sit down with everybody, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be compromising who I am or what I stand. And I always, like, I had a really good friend of mine that she was a very big Democrat. She used to be our chief of police, and a lot of people crucified me because I was friends with her. But funny thing, I appeared in 2021, in national TV talking about Cuba and the freedom of speech. And I told this, I'm like, I am a Trump supporter. Whether you like it or not, what are you going to do about it? When that happened, my business suffered one of the biggest, I will say, hit. Because a lot of the Democrats that were clients of mine started canceling their contracts and finishing contract with my business because I said that.
Right.
And I'm like, I am not going to change who I am to appeal to you and do business to you. If you want to do business with me, it's because who I am as a professional and because we offer a great service, not because I am a Trump supporter or not, because I'm going to still be a Trump supporter. And one of the very few people who stood by me was that person. She used to be our chief of police back in 2020. And she used to, like, she will get me Trump sticker, and she was not a fan of Trump. And we'll have conversations, and I will educate her on, hey, socialism is not what you think. And like, every time that I will sit down with her and talk to her, that will be my main goal. Like, I got to make sure that people understand where I'm coming from and why I'm so pro-capitalism.
I think every Democrat needs a Cuban friend. That's what you need.
That's a great point.
That'll just change your life in so many ways. Okay, we only have about a minute left. So what do you think this district needs? What do you think Louisville needs? If you're going to represent our city mostly, and so what is the biggest issue that you think you can help with at the federal level?
I am somebody who understands what the real American struggles with. I came here without a single dollar in my pocket to buy a bottle of water at the airport. And that is not, like, I know what it is being to be homeless. I know what it means to not to have money. I know what it is to have to go and walk 2 miles to buy groceries because we didn't have a car when we came to America. walking in the snow, in the cold weather, or in the hot weather, and be that person that knows what Americans struggle every day and want what is the best for America, whether it's a safe city, free market economy, and prosperity.
That's right.
I'm living my American dream, and for those who think the American dream it's dead, that is not true.
Beautiful. That's
That is
awesome.
not true.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Maria Rodriguez, she'll be running in the primary. And
May 19th.
Yeah, May 19th. Great job, Maria. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Monday.
Pleasure.
Happy Easter.